Moedim Simcha Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet Moed Katan. We are up to Perek Aleph Mishna Yud. Today's Mishnah should be Leilun Nishmat Neria ben Svetlana Aranbayev Neliyahu ben Burcha Israelov Menuchatam Began Eden Amen and Avdi ben Chaim Lechaim V'Refuah Shelemav Daniel Shano ben Rosa Betoch Shah Cholei Israel. The Mishnah discusses two repairs that may be done on Chol HaMoed but only in a non-professional manner. Osin ma'akel hagag v'lamerpeset ma'aseh edyot. We may make a railing for a roof or a balcony, which is a platform that serves as a walkway for people using the upper story, in the manner of an amateur, for example, by piling stones on top of one another in the form of a wall that's cementing them in place. Avalo ma'aseh oman, but not in the manner of a professional. Now the Mishnah speaks of a railing that is not absolutely needed and serves only to provide extra protection. Since it will be used on Yom Tov, one is allowed to build it on Chol HaMoed, but since it is not truly necessary, one may not build it in a professional manner. The Torah commands us to build a safety railing, a ma'akeh, around the roof, balcony, or any other high place in which people might fall. This is in Sefer Dvarim, chapter 22, verse 8. The Mishnah, however, refers to a railing that is not obligatory, such as one around the roof of a building used for storage. If it were obligatory, the Ritba on page 9b explains one would be allowed to make it on Chol HaMoed even in a professional manner. Shafin et azdakin, we may smear plaster over cracks in the roof of a house. Now the Rav explains flat roofs were covered with clay. If there were cracks in the clay, rain would fall into the house and cause damage. Umagilin otan b'magila bayad u'baregel, and smooth out the plaster with one's hand or foot, even if the results will be as good as though they had been done with a roller. Avalo b'machalatzim, but one may not smooth it with a trowel. The loss in this case is not certain because it might not rain on Yom Tov. Therefore, repairs may be done only in the manner of an amateur with his hands or feet, but not in the manner of a professional with a trowel or roller. If it is currently raining, the Ritba explains one may seal the cracks even in a professional manner because then the repair is needed to prevent a definite loss. Now, repairs that may be done even in a professional manner, Hatzir, Vatzinor, Vakora, Vamanul, Vamaftech, Shenishberu, if a pivot, a socket, now the pivot is a peg that extends from the bottom of a door, fitting into a hole in the door sill and serving as a hinge on which the door swings. The socket is the hole in the door sill that holds the pivot, or a beam that supports the house, or a lock, or a key broke. If any of these things broke, mitakenan b'moed, one may repair them on Chol HaMoed even in a professional manner, because such repairs are needed to prevent thieves from entering the house and causing a loss. Ubilvat shelo yichaven melachto b'moed, but this is permitted only if he does not schedule his work for Chol HaMoed. Even if these items broke before the festival, repairing them is permitted on Chol HaMoed, but one may not deliberately delay the repairs until Chol HaMoed when he has no other work to do. Now the Mishnah concludes with the law about preparing food for Yom Tov. V'chol kevashin shu yachol le'echol men b'moed kuvshan. All pickled foods that can be pickled in vinegar and salt, such as fish and vegetables, that one can pickle on Chol HaMoed and will be ready to eat during the festival, kuvshan. One may pickle them on Chol HaMoed because this is a preparation for the festival. Since the foods will be eaten during the festival, one may pickle them on Chol HaMoed, even though pickling is a melacha, a generally forbidden labor on Yom Tov and Shabbat and Chol HaMoed. That is the Nabotai of Perek Aleph Mishnah Yud. We continue now with Perek Bet Mishnah Aleph. As we learned in the previous Mishnah, even work that is done to prevent a loss is permitted on Chol HaMoed only if it could not have been done before the festival. If one intentionally left the work to be done over Chol HaMoed, he may not do so, he may not do it, even though this might result in a loss. Our Mishnah addresses a case in which someone tried to do work before the festival, but events beyond his control caused a delay. Mishafachet zetav, if one turned over his olives before the festival in order to prepare them for being pressed for oil. Before olives are pressed for their oil, they are packed into a vat where they are left to soften. After sitting for a while, the olives are turned over to complete the softening. If the olives are not pressed soon after they are turned, they spoil. Veroevel, and a situation of mourning happened to him, and a close relative died, God forbid, so that he was unable to press them before the festival. During the 7 days that followed the death of a close relative, a mourner is forbidden to do work so that he will not forget to mourn, as the Gemara says in page 21a, and therefore he may not press olives during this period. And this Gemara on page 20b explains The 7 relatives whose death gives a person the status of a mourner are a father, mother, wife, son, daughter, brother, and sister. O honest, or he was unable to press the olives because of an accident, or sheitu po'alim, or because his workers deceived him and did not come to work. They promised to come and do the job and they failed to arrive, and the festival then arrived. To'en, korah, rishona, in all these cases he may load the pressing beam onto the olives the first time and press them on chol moed, umanichah lacha moed, and leave the beam in place until after the festival. One of the 39 belachot is dash, threshing, which is the process by which wheat kernels are separated from their shells. Pressing oil from olives falls under this category. Therefore, under normal circumstances, a person may not press olives on chol moed. The Mishnah permits pressing olives in this case in order to prevent a loss, since one could not have performed this labor before the festival began. However, the Mishnah does say, like we said, and leave the beam in place until after the festival. However, he may not press the olives a second time during the festival, because once they have been pressed one time, the olives no longer spoil. Once some of the oil has been pressed out, the olives are no longer in danger of spoiling. Therefore, once the beam has been loaded a first time, there is no urgent need to press them a second time on chol moed. Instead, the olives are left under the beam until after the festival. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, these are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yossi, but Rabbi Yossi says, Zolef v'gomer v'gaf kedalko. He may even spill the olives onto the press and finish pressing out the rest of the oil and seal the vet on chol moed, completing the entire process in the usual manner. According to Rabbi Yossi, he may complete the entire process as he normally would, loading the beam onto them as many times as is necessary to extract all the oil, and does not have to stop after the first processing, as Rabbi Yehuda maintains. After the first pressing, as Rabbi Yehuda maintains. Although no significant loss will be caused by delaying the later pressings, Rabbi Yossi holds that once permission has been granted to begin the process, one may complete it in the usual manner. And the Rav does tell us, V'alachak Rabbi Yossi, the halacha follows the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. And that is the Nabotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Everybody should have a Chag Sameach. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen v'amen.